Hello students, welcome to Marine Engineering Tutorials. I am Atul Kumar Gupta and back with a new tutorial. We are presently studying marine boilers. Today we have 76th lecture and the topic is construction and operation of various types of safety valves. In this lecture we will learn high lift, improved high lift, full lift and consolidated safety valves, which are developments of ordinary spring-loaded safety valves. All these types of valves are operated by the direct action of steam. Lastly, full-bore relay-operated safety valve will be discussed, which is used on large capacity, high-pressure water tube boilers on steamships. This sketch shows an ordinary spring-loaded safety valve used in earlier boilers, which was later on modified to improve the valve operation. Let's see different components used in the safety valve in order of their assembly. Safety valve consists of valve body, which is mounted on the steam drum and houses two valves as shown in sketch with single steam connection from the bottom. Valve seat is secured into the body for each valve. Bonnet is fitted on the valve body and a sealing bush is secured in the bonnet, which prevents steam leakage and guides the valve spindle. Which is shown in this place. So sealing bush is shown here. Spindle is passed through the spring casing and secured with the valve disc with a pin, which can be seen here. So that is the valve disc with the pins at the bottom. Spring is held between lower and upper spring carriers. Compression screw is held by a bush in the top cover and compresses the spring to set the valve opening pressure. A compression ring in two parts is fitted between the gap of bush and the compression screw, which prevents loosening of the screw due to vibration. Spindle hood is fitted after setting the pressure. A quarter is passed through the oval slot provided in the spindle and hood, which is connected to the easing gear. Easing gear is used to lift the valve manually in case it does not open under steam pressure. Excess steam enters from the bottom and is led to the funnel through exhaust pipe, which is shown over here. This design had problem of valve seizure due to wings provided for guiding the valve movement, which are shown over here. The sketch shows the construction of high lift safety valve, which is first modification of ordinary spring-loaded safety valve. Let's see the changes carried out in this safety valve. Wings of the valve disc have been removed, which cause seizure of the valve in ordinary spring-loaded safety valve. Sealing bush has been replaced with guide plate, which guides the spindle and also allows steam to act under the lower spring carrier through the steam ports provided for this purpose. Guide plate is provided with a drain hole for removal of condensate. Lower spring carrier has been modified to act as a piston on which steam exerts upward force to relieve spring force. A vent is provided for escape of steam from the spring housing. This design has a trouble known as feathering effect, due to which valve does not close with a snap action and results in leakage. This sketch shows further modification to high lift safety valve and is known as improved high lift safety valve, and remove the drawback caused by feathering effect. A loose or floating ring is provided between guide plate and lower spring carrier, which prevents excessive steam leakage in the spring housing. The ring is kept floating or loose to prevent seizure of the valve due to corrosion between the ring and the lower spring carrier, and the valve can lift together with the ring. This sketch shows detail of the valve. You can see the valve body to which the valve sheet is secured. Then we have a valve guide, and there is a loose ring which is sealing the steam between the lower spring carrier the valve spindle is passed through this and is attached to the valve disc. The spindle is attached to the disc with the help of a pin for securing it. The lower spring carrier acts as a steam piston on which the spring is kept and compressed with the compression screw, and at the bottom of the valve guide there is a drain hole to remove the condensate. This sketch shows first and second stage of valve operation as described below. The seat is secured to the valve body on which the disc rests, as shown here. Bottom of the valve disc has special shape to guide the steam towards the seat, as you can see here. Similarly, seat also has a special shape to deflect the steam towards the valve lip when the valve lifts a little, which is shown here. This is the valve lip. The valve usually remains seated under the force of spring. When the force of spring acting under the valve disc exceeds the spring force, valve lifts a little, which is the first stage of valve operation. At this stage, valve cannot open further because initial valve lift compresses the spring further, which will require more steam pressure to lift the valve further. In the second stage of the valve operation, steam escape during the first stage acts on the lip of the valve, which provides more surface area for the steam to act, and valve opens further. sketch refers to improved high lift safety valve and shows third stage of valve operation. Safety valve is equipped with a guide plate to guide the movement of the spindle and is equipped with ports through which steam acts under the lower spring carrier. You can see the valve guide, and we have the loose ring. Loose ring prevents excessive leakage of steam, thereby avoiding feathering effect. So here we can see the valve spindle is there on which lower spring carrier is resting, above which we have the compression spring held by the compression screw. When steam acts under the lower spring carrier, steam force overcomes the steam force, spring force, and valve lifts completely. So we can see here the steam passes through the port and acts underneath, and the spring force will be completely removed. This sketch shows a full lift safety valve. Some of the features of this valve are different than high lift safety valve, which are discussed here. Seat is secured in the valve body and valve guide is held in position by 4 lugs and locked in the bonnet. You can see the valve guide, which is guiding the movement of the valve, which is having the shape of a piston. The spindle guide, in addition to guiding the movement of the spindle, also prevents the leakage of steam towards the yoke, which is the shape of this valve. Steam leak between valve guide and valve is released from the vent. You can see there is a vent through which the leak of steam is taken out. Bonnet is of yoke type instead of the cylindrical shape, such that spring is visible and compression screw can be locked from the bottom, as you can observe from here. As usual, a drain hole is provided on the exhaust pipe to remove the condensate. Operation of the valve is described in the next slide. So here we can see 2 positions of the valve. On the left side we have valve completely closed, and on the right side we have valve fully lifted. The sketch shows the 2 positions of the valve completely closed and fully lifted. This valve also opens in 3 stages. In the first stage, when steam force exceeds the spring force, valve lifts a little. In the second stage, the escaped steam acts on the lip of the valve, thereby exerting more force to lift the valve further until bottom face of the valve enters in the valve guide. In the third stage, the escaping steam is deflected downwards by the bottom edge of the guide, and the consequent reaction pressure lifts the valve to the full open position. So that is the difference, that the third stage, the reaction of the steam is utilized to open it fully, whereas in earlier cases, steam was used to lift the and overcome the spring force. This sketch shows a consolidated safety valve designed for pressure up to 62 bar and temperature of 537 degree centigrade. This safety valve includes three special features which are adjustable blowdown control, precision closing control and thermodisc valve seat, which are discussed in the following slides. The sketch shows an adjustable blowdown control ring which is screwed onto the valve seat and provides a quick full lift or pop action to the opening valve disc and a cushioning or blowdown control action as the valve closes. So we can see this here. So the two positions are shown. One is valve opening on the left side and on the right side valve closing. So valve seat has got adjustable blowdown control ring, so which is adjusting the steam in such a way to provide quick lift while opening and a cushioned closing. And that is the valve. In the opening position, during the valve opening, exhaust steam escaping from the valve provides additional reaction due to which valve opens rapidly. So we can see this additional reaction which is coming, also coming on the side of the valve. And in the valve closing condition, when valve is closing rapidly under the influence of boost cylinder, the escaping exhaust steam provides cushioning effect due to which valve is seated gradually. So during the closing condition, there is no reaction of the steam and it is the steam trapped here provides the cushioning effect so that the closing is slow. The sketch shows the details of valve opening and closing sequence and the operation of the boost cylinder fitted above the valve disc to provide precision closing control. Let's see the main features of this valve. So the valve is moving in the grooved valve guide. The valve is shown here, which has got a special seat known as thermodisc valve seat. As the valve pops open, some escaping steam is bled off through bleed holes to boost cylinder, from where it is vented to atmospheric through piston ring. So we can see the bleed holes. So this steam passes through these holes, passes to the boost cylinder, and since this piston ring has provided the opening, the steam is vented to the atmosphere. As the boiler pressure falls and valve begins to close, piston ring closes the atmospheric vent, which causes a sharp rise in steam pressure in the boost cylinder. The resulting down thrust on the valve disc produces a positive closing action and gives the desired snap shut, which also prevents feathering effect caused by the escaping steam. So we can see here, when the valve begins to close, the piston ring seals with the spindle and the steam trap acts at the bottom of the valve and it helps in closing the valve with the cushioned action. For high temperature application, a thermodisc valve seat is fitted consisting of thin valve which provides extra flexibility at the point of contact when the valve closes. This allows better heat transfer between the meeting surfaces and serves to reduce local distortion, thus preventing valve leakage. So, this thermodisc valve seat is having a special shape to prevent the damage to the valve. This sketch shows a full bore relay operated safety valve which is suitable for water tube boilers on steamships with working pressure up to 100 bar. Let's see the parts of this valve. This is the main valve, this is the relay valve, then the steam is entering from the bottom and is going equally on the main valve and the relay valve. The waste stream is going from the outlet side, led through the funnel to the outside. In the relay valve, it is a two position valve, there is an atmospheric vent. And there is a condensate drain hole, and to operate the valve in emergency when it does not open under steam pressure, an easing gear is provided. The valve lift in this case is equal to nominal bore D as compared to D by 4 in other types of safety valves, and provides 4 times the discharge capacity as compared to high lift safety valve. As compared to other types of safety valves, the main valve is not operated directly with steam pressure but is activated by its own control valve, both of which are in direct communication with the steam drum or superheater header where they are mounted. This sketch describes the operation of valve in a simple way. Let's see the valve components first. So we can see the valve spindle to which the main valve is attached. The control piston is used to operate the valve, and the return spring is there to close it as the valve is closed by steam. So this will bring it back when the steam to open the control piston stops. Easing gear is used for valve operation when it does not open the steam. The stopper will limit the opening of the valve to the extent of D. The steam inlet is there on both sides, the main valve as well as the relay valve. So now it is shown that relay valve is opened, which has closed the atmospheric vent. So when it opens, the steam will move to the right side of the piston. And when the valve lifts, the waste stream will go out from here. In the second position, the relay valve is shown closed. So the right side of the steam is vented to the atmosphere. During normal boiler operation, both main and relay valves are in contact with steam. Relay valve opens directly with steam pressure, whereas steam keeps the main valve closed. Relay valve is a double ported valve and usually remains seated by the spring force, thus venting the control cylinder. When steam pressure exceeds the set pressure of the relay valve, it closes the vent and admits the steam to control cylinder. As the area of the control piston is double than that of the main valve, steam force acting on the control piston overcomes combined force of steam on main valve and spring force, thereby opening the main valve fully up to the valve stopper, and steam is exhausted through waste pipe. When steam pressure drops, relay valve sits back and vents the steam acting on the control piston, and the main valve thus closes. This completes our study of the construction and operation of different types of safety valves. This book is written by me and covers all the topics as per Indian Maritime University syllabus. It clarifies the concepts with simple illustrations. This book also provides answers to all the questions which have appeared in the examination conducted by Indian Maritime University. This book can help the students in preparing for the exam and also to work on the ship border safely. Hope you have liked the lecture. You can write your feedback in the comment box. If you have liked the tutorial, you may share it with your friends. You may subscribe to the channel for getting notification about the new tutorials. I'll be back with a new lecture shortly. Thanks for watching till the end.